Hey guys, it's Kim, and today I wanted to do a special video about something I've been wanting to do for the past few days. I was going to release a comic book haul video today, but I decided that this video would be best because it was related to something that has just come out. I'm of course talking about the new series that's come out on Netflix, Daredevil. Oh my god, I can't even begin to explain how amazing this show is. If you haven't started watching it yet, I highly suggest you do. Throw out any expectations you have of the Marvel Universe and how happy and fun friendly it is, like Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. Throw that away and be prepared to be shoved into something that you never even thought Marvel was capable of. So, Marvel has released Daredevil, exclusive to Netflix. It has 13 episodes. It was released, I think, a few days ago on the 10th of April or something. But it is a dark Marvel show. That's right, a dark Marvel show. Just when we thought that Marvel wasn't really getting it in terms of TV, they turned around and threw a giant curveball. Now, I don't know a lot about Daredevil, but what I do know about him, of course, is yes, he's a very serious character. He's very, he has similar themes to that of Batman, so if you were ever going to take on a Daredevil show, I guess you'd have to have those darker themes in there, just like The Punisher or something similar like that. You can't have a happy, fun, friendly environment like what the Avengers have done where it's bright, it's fun, it's entertaining. No, Daredevil has to be a darker TV show. And Marvel, at the moment, because they're paired up with Disney, I think we felt like that they could never really cross into that territory because of this. But we were wrong. Firstly, I'm going to try and not give out any spoilers. If I feel one coming up, I will alarm you of it, but I'll try my best not to do it. The best thing about this show is that they do not censor any bullshit. They do nothing. It is literally a show with hard-hitting issues. We've got child abuse, extreme violence, drug dealing, torture, extreme gang and street violence. There is so much going on here that you wouldn't think would come out in the Marvel Cinematic Universe at this moment. I think everyone was putting a big question mark to this TV show because of the movie being so weird. Even though they're going along the same themes, you can just see how much different this TV show is from the movie. They've literally, and I think I read in an article that when they were developing this series, they basically told everyone to watch the movie because that is a lesson in what not to do when creating a Daredevil series. So this series is very Batman-esque. What I find more interesting about Daredevil is that he's got this added handicap. Of course he's blind, he can see some things, he's got heightened skills of sound, smell, touch, everything like that. So I think it makes him more interesting to us because it's almost impossible for his friends and family and the people around him to even suspect him as Daredevil. He has the perfect cover. And when you compare it to something like Arrow, Arrow is just a guy running around in a suit, whereas Matt Murdock, aka Daredevil, has had to overcome so much to get to what he has. I'm not saying Oliver Queen hasn't overcome a lot, but you have more respect for Matt Murdock than you do for Oliver Queen. Or if you don't, I do, personally. I feel like I have more respect for Matt Murdock rather than Oliver Queen. Matt Murdock, aka Daredevil, is played by Charlie Cox. Now, I have to be honest, I wasn't convinced at first when he was playing the role. I thought he was a little small and weak, but I have to say, in the fight scenes and sort of binging on this series, I can see so much of why he works. He's quite small but effective. He's nimble as fuck and really quick in his fighting stance. So instead of using brawn and muscle, he's quite smart in the way that he fights people and attacks things. So it gives him more of an edge than just your basic superheroes such as Arrow or Batman. And of course Batman has his own gadgets and such to fight criminals, but I think Daredevil is a bit more, he's more inventive. And because he has his handicap that he's partially blind, it makes it more interesting for you to sort of live out the fight sequences with him and see how he uses his handicap to his advantage. But my all-time favourite character in this is of course Wilson Fisk. I was so excited that they decided to use Kingpin as the main villain. There are so many different TV shows where the main villain doesn't come in until like the second or third season, so I really love that they shoved him in from the beginning of the series. Now Wilson Fisk, aka Kingpin, is played by Vincent D'Onofrio. When I first saw this casting, I thought that was the weirdest thing I've ever seen. I just could not picture him, and my mind kept going back to the Men in Black days when he played the giant cockroach. And I just couldn't picture him as Kingpin. But in this series, he is fantastic. He is super captivating, he's realistic, and the first appearance we actually got to see of him, they played the romance card, and that's how they introduced him visually. Throughout the first few episodes, they just sort of name-dropped him, but never actually showed Fisk. And then the first time we see him, he's trying to very awkwardly woo a girl. And we feel, I think, a bit sorry for him, because we see a lot of his backstory and why he's created into this character, because we all know Kingpin. Well, most of us, well, I would think most of us know who Kingpin is, his personality, what he does, because he's not just in Daredevil, he goes across a lot of different Marvel comics in the Marvel universe. So we know he's a very violent man. So the way that they introduced Fisk into this was a very awkward, sort of weird guy trying to woo this lady at an art gallery, and it was the most captivating thing I have seen for a long time, because I knew he was Kingpin, and I thought, what are you doing? This is so out of character. But they really played this up for the rest of the series. His awkward side, you could see it, and you were just waiting for him to sort of lose it and go crazy and start beating on people. And yes, he does. It's not really a spoiler because you know what's going to happen, but so that first time that he completely lost it and just went cray-cray, I think was there was so much more tension and suspense in that than there would be if you just introduced him as, this is a violent character, this is what he does. I think introducing him first as a weirdly awkward character that we're like, there's something up with this guy, was so much more effective for this, and he just played it so well. Now, I think I read somewhere in an article or saw it in an interview that Vincent did a lot of research for this role. He read a lot of the comics and sort of got a feel of who Kingpin was, and I think this really shows in the series. Watching him throughout the series, I could just tell that he was Kingpin. It was something about him, just like his little mannerisms as well. It was just... he wasn't just some bad guy. He had a lot of depth to him, and he just felt like this comic book character that had come to life, but but in another layer he was realistic. Another thing that is absolutely amazing about this series is the opening credits. My god, they are so cool. They're very sort of David Fincher-esque, which I really enjoy, and I find myself never skipping through them. I just watch them all the time, even though it goes for like a minute. I sort of like miss opening credits. You know, in the 90s and all the different shows, they used to have those opening credits. They never do that anymore, and it's so sad because I love opening credits. But when you first watch this series, do not forward through it. It's just so good, and the symbolisms in it are amazing. Basically, I just want to wrap up the series. If you have not watched this, and you're a DC fan, I highly suggest you watch it. It is so DC Comics-esque. You feel like you're jumping into that universe. But in a way, it's still got that Marvel feel, which is kind of strange. So it's weird, because as usual, I'm normally a DC Comics person, and if someone asks me, I can clearly say I'm a DC Comics person. But this series has sort of made me jump back to that middle point again, and I'm not sure where to go, Marvel or DC, which one I like better. So at this current stage, I'm going to say that I am in the middle of both of them, which is hard for me to say, but I am. I'm on the cliff between Marvel and DC. That's what this series has done to me. So guys, if you have Netflix, give it a watch. It's only 13 episodes and they are fantastic. Let me know if you guys have watched it in the comments and what you thought. Try not to give any spoilers away for people that are watching this video. But thank you so much for watching, and I will see you very soon. Bye-bye.